Welcome back. While the NYPD credits precision policing for the decline in gun violence last year and this year, the impact of those policing strategies is still having an impact on some communities.
Take a look at these numbers. According to the data collaborative at John Jay College, between 2020 and 2024, the average number of gun possession arrests hovered around 4,500, and 70% of the people who were arrested for gun possession in that time were black.
The New York Amsterdam News is taking a closer look at these numbers as part of their three-part investigative series called Under the Gun.
And joining us this morning is Shannon Chaffers, the writer behind the series. Thanks for being here, Shannon. What was the impetus for launching this investigation?
So I've been reporting on gun violence for 3 years now, and one of the issues I've been covering is illegal gun carrying and kind of understanding the driving factors behind this issue. And one of the key factors is concerns around safety. So people are carrying guns for protection, and that's driven in part by a lack of faith that the police are able to keep the neighborhood safe. So for the past 9 months, I've been working on this series, trying to understand how policing around gun violence and illegal gun possession specifically is impacting communities.
Yeah, and legal possession has changed dramatically in this time with new federal gun laws that have been enacted under the Trump administration also. Did the NYPD cooperate with you in this investigation? How did that play out?
Well, the NYPD Communications Office did give me a couple of statements in response to my findings, but my interview request was declined.
And we know the NYPD and the Commissioner, Jessica Tisch, has credited neighborhood policing and hotspot policing for bringing down the crime rate. But we also know that in many instances, this comes at a cost. What did you find in that regard?
Yes, so it's important to note that the specific strategy of broad, aggressive gun possession enforcement, there's a lack of evidence in the academic research that strategy brings down gun violence. And there's also, of course, the community cost of such a strategy in terms of casting a wide net and affecting a lot of people in the neighborhood through strategies like stop and frisk and the gang database. So one of the community organizers I spoke to said they feel like the community is being surveilled to be criminalized rather than to be supported or invested in.
Interesting. And so there was also an audit done in 2025. It was conducted by an NYPD monitor, right? And so it found that black or Hispanic men make up 90% of police stops. We've heard numbers like this before, historically, under stop and frisk, where we know that people of color were largely targeted. What does this say to you about how things may or may not be changing in our city?
Right. So there's definitely a real concern around racial profiling when it comes to stop and frisk and the other.
Even though we don't call it stop and frisk, it lives under different names sometimes when it comes to the NYPD and the way they brand it versus maybe what the community might call it.
Indeed. So the strategy remains the same. Under Mayor Michael Bloomberg, there was a significant amount of stops going on, which led to the constitutional challenge, which then led to a significant decline in the number of stops going on in the neighborhood. But under Mayor Eric Adams, the numbers have gone up again, which you can see in the NYPD data, and you can also see when I speak to community members who are impacted by these strategies that it does have a real serious impact on their day-to-day lives and their kind of feeling of connection and trust towards the police.
There are also historically low numbers of shootings and shooting deaths in the city also in this overlay.
Yes, that's correct.
Did you find that there's a disconnect between what you're hearing from 1PP in leadership and practices out on the street?
Well, I wasn't able to talk directly with the NYPD, but they do talk a lot about how they're using precision policing and really targeting the people that are driving the gun violence. But what you hear on the ground is that there's a lot of people who believe that they're viewed as suspects without reasonable suspicion or evidence that they're involved in any criminal behavior.
So the NYPD, the mayor's office, oftentimes point to the successes that they're having in driving down the numbers of gun violence numbers, but you're saying this oftentimes comes with a real cost and it's borne by certain communities of color.
That's right. So you have these marginalized populations that are experiencing very aggressive policing, and there's not evidence that the specific strategy around targeting illegal gun possession is what's driving the declines in gun violence.
It's a three-part series in the Amsterdam News. Shannon Chaffers, the writer of those pieces. Thank you so much. The third part is coming out. We appreciate you being here to talk to us about this important issue this morning.
Thank you.
and the latest issue of the New York Amsterdam News, now available online.